Hello and welcome to We Random episode 64. We are recording on Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. This is a podcast where we just talk about random stuff and maybe we get angry, maybe we don't. I'm kidding, we always get angry, but B's going to tell you a little bit more about that. But first, B, did you hear about the game of Peekaboo where someone ended up in the hospital? No? You haven't heard about that one? They ended up in the ICU. Peekaboo. ICU. Yeah. I'll be right back after this.
Almost Qualified Productions. Your dose of semi-coherent babbling.
Welcome to We Random, episode 64. I'm Landmark. Out there somewhere in the metaverse is SKOINZ. Say hello to our wonderful people, SKOINZ.
Hey, everybody.
So, tonight on We Random, we bring you our wonderful Wheel of Doom. On that wheel, we have lots of topics. I think I count 12 if I can count correctly tonight. That wheel is going to spin, and we're going to try to get SKOINZ mad online. But we're going to try to make him not swear, because we know that there's someone out there who can't hear about SKOINZ saying bad words. So we're going to try real hard, but I'm going to make SKOINZ swear because that's kind of my role on this show. So,
sounds about right.
How are you doing tonight, SKOINZ? What's the deal? What do you got for our people today?
You know, all I'm saying is I hope everybody's staying warm out there because it is cold as a witch's. It's cold out there. It's cold, so stay warm.
Sounds good. Well, any other things before we get right on to the business of today?
No, I think we should just spin this wheel and have at it.
All right, let's get it going. Let's go.
There she's off. And we're going to start with the Pope. Everybody loves the Pope.
So, Pope Francis has criticized couples who choose to have pets instead of children as selfish, arguing that their decision to forego parenthood leads to, quote, a loss of humanity and is a detriment to civilization. The Pope's quote was, "We see that people do not want to have children or just one and no more. And many couples do not have children because they do not want to, or they have one, but they have 2 dogs, 2 cats. Yes, dogs and cats take the place of children." The Pope says, "The denial of fatherhood or motherhood diminishes us. It takes away our humanity, and in this way civilization becomes aged and without humanity because it loses the richness of fatherhood and motherhood." Now, I know where you stand on the whole concept of religion, SKOINZ, so part of me wants to get you riled up and just let you go on this. But, you know, we do have to acknowledge 2 people on this podcast who don't have children, so we're already on the Pope shit list. But how do you feel about this one, SKOINZ?
You know, I'm not going to get all irate because I think that I can get to this one very quick and very easy. I have 2 questions for you, B.
Hit me.
Do you know anybody who is not a parent who is not an asshole?
Yes.
Okay, second question. Do you know anybody who is a parent who is an asshole?
There's a lot of them.
So pretty much the Pope is shit out of luck because that kind of proves my point. Like, I mean, just because you have kids doesn't mean you're a good person. Doesn't mean that you have your humanity. Like it's stupid. It's a stupid point. I understand where he's going with this, right? I understand the idea. I understand that there's an intrinsic value that some people get from having children. I understand that, but it doesn't mean that people that don't have kids are horrible people. I understand some of the impacts to the world at large, right? If everybody stopped having kids, who the hell's going to be in the world in 100 years to take care of the world or take care of us when we're old or whatever the case may be? I understand that aspect of it. I don't think it's anybody's civic duty to have kids, for God's sake. But yeah, I think I understand kind of where he's going with this, but just to be frank, it's a stupid fucking opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have so many thoughts on this, right? And I don't want to just put myself out there and put myself on blast. So I'm trying to figure out a way to say this in a way that is, kind. But there are multiple approaches to this. One, obviously, the church itself benefits from people having children because there are major corporations sponsoring this event. So children go to Zeke Elliott, feed me of the week. There you go. But, the other part about this is I feel like we need to break the whole stigma of unless you're a parent, you can do X, Y, Z and blah, 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 blah. We've had talks for weeks and months and ever since we started doing this podcast about adults who have children who are trying to teach their children to be, not great people, right? So where is, we're talking about, we're going to lose humanity if we don't have children. Where is the humanity in trying to teach people that it's not okay for you to be a transgender person, right? Where is the humanity in trying to tell people, racism didn't exist? Right? Obviously, these are not all direct one-to-one lines to the church, but what I'm saying is there's a lot more that goes into being a good person than just being a parent.
Yeah, I think, this Pope has been pretty progressive as far as popes go. There's a lot of things that he's done and that he's said and that he's pushed for that I think are very good. This isn't one of them. I just think this is a stupid thing to throw out there. And in a way, it seems like he's attacking pet owners, which seems dumb on top of it. I mean, I'm not a pet owner. I'm allergic to pets. I don't like pets for the most part. And quite frankly, this is going to alienate people out there, I'm quite sure. But if you're one of those people that says, I'm a mom because I have a dog. No, you're not. You are a woman or a person who has a dog. That is not the same as having a child. There's a very big difference there. I'm sorry. Don't say these are my children. No, those are your pets. I'm just going to go out on a limb and throw that out there and piss off everybody. But why is he seemingly attacking pet people? Let people have fucking pets. I could go into a tangent here, but we're all living in this fucking crapped out goddamn world where people are, slaving away, and I use that term very, very specifically, trying to, we've talked about this so much over the weekend, but people are in a situation where we have to work to live. This is part of our life, right? So goddamn, forgive me if somebody wants to have a dog to come home and enjoy their life a little bit, right? I mean, we're living in a pandemic, for Christ's sake, where you can't go out the door without risk of losing your life. God forbid you have companionship in your house when you can't leave. God forbid that you want to get some exercise and you got a pet that you can go out and take them out walking around the block or something. Who the fuck cares if you got a pet, Pope? Calm the fuck down, man.
Well, and God forbid that you have pets because you don't have the finances to pay $400 a week for daycare that's going to expose your child to COVID multiple times in the same month.
Right, and then your entire family. But yeah, Emily, I'm 100% there with you. I was shocked that this Pope said this because he's been very progressive in a lot of ways. So yeah, I don't know where this comes from. I don't know why this came about. I'll be honest, I didn't do a ton more research into it. It seems weird that this kind of came about. And maybe it just comes down to the almighty dollar. Maybe B's onto something. Maybe they just need more people in the church so they can, I mean, those robes can't be cheap. I'm just saying.
I mean, those expansions don't pay for themselves, right?
That's right. They need more expansion teams. All right, I'm spinning. We're done with the Pope. Get out of here. Oh, I thought we were going to end up on the other one and then send them out of here. But instead, we're going to send out a Twitch streamer, Pokimane. Who's Pokimane and why are we talking about her?
Pokimane, who apparently is one of the most popular streamers on Twitch with over 8.5 million followers. Pokimane found themselves being banned from the platform after streaming the popular animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender. The cause of the ban was likely the result of a DMCA strike. Bum, bum, bum. So, according to Twitch Tracker, the streamer was watching and casting the show to roughly 25,000 viewers during the stream. Now, Twitch has a 3-strike policy when it comes to DMCA claims, so the channel will likely be restored if it has not been already. So, one of the things that people have been finding over these past few days is that Twitch streamers have been starting to get banned because of doing a new trend on Twitch known as TV meta, where streamers just randomly watch and comment on television shows that may or may not be DMCA'd. So, SKOINZ, as our resident streaming expert, can you tell us why people are stupid?
How much time do we have here? So
I mean,
I
we
don't
just
know.
started, so we've got like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's go.
I don't know that I would say I'm an expert, but you know, I wish I could understand why. I mean, in a way, I know why, right? It's money. It's like every goddamn thing else. It's money is what it comes down to. Instead of having to put thought and planning into, you know, what kind of content I'm going to create, instead I'm literally just going to turn on the TV and sit here and watch a TV show. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. And this isn't like little tiny streamers like me who have, you know, 3 people that watch them on occasion, maybe if you're lucky. These are the biggest streamers in the world that are doing this. They know that it's wrong, you would think. And they have management teams that know this is wrong, you would think. But they don't care. They just do it anyway. Pokimane ended up getting a 48-hour ban. She was back a couple days ago, Monday, I think maybe. I think it was Monday. She was back and she had 20, 30,000 people watching her stream. Big celebratory, hey, I'm back, yada, yada. She took the weekend off. And she came back and she's good to go. There was another streamer, Disguised Toast, who just got a month-long ban. Why was there a discrepancy? Is it because of who she is and who he is? I don't know. Maybe. Is it because maybe he has more strikes against him than what she has? I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, this is just a kind of an epidemic where people just don't care. And I think there's a lot of questions that go into this. There's another streamer. His name is Hassan Piker, who's a very controversial streamer. Very, very controversial. Very political. Very, I would say left-leaning is the best way to put it. I don't know that he would call himself a liberal, but very left-leaning and very political content. And he got a DMCA strike for watching something stupid, MasterChef, I think. And it turned out it was fake. It wasn't even a real DMCA strike. So there's a lot of craziness going on. I think there are people that are acting in bad faith on the back end. Obviously, there's people on the front end who are acting in bad faith because they just keep doing this because they don't really care. I tend to think that there's a whole lot of people who should be in the management sector who are failing these people. I mean, these are generally very young individuals. This isn't meant to be disparaging, but these aren't people who, you know, have 20 years of schooling and, you know, an advanced degree and they have 180 IQ, right? These aren't, not to say that they're idiots, but they aren't necessarily super educated individuals for the most part. That's generalizing. That's why they hire people to support them, to advise them, to make sure that they're doing the right thing. For God's sake, Pokimane, who I support, I think she does a lot of good stuff. She just launched or partnered with an agency, a marketing agency. Like she put her name on it and a whole bunch of probably millions of dollars into being a part of this marketing agency. Like a marketing agency that should tell you, don't do this shit. And she's doing this shit. You know, it's just...
It could be the money, though, right? But I think one of the things that's interesting about this is there were people who made the argument like these people knew what they were doing. They knew it was wrong. Especially if you're streaming on Twitch, you already have the backbone of like Amazon Prime where like you can stream any of that like Prime content and you're not going to get the strike because they are a Twitch partner. And then there were other streamers who were like, oh, but I don't want to, you know, disenfranchise my viewers and blah 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 blah. But then it's like, well, you chose to be on Twitch, so you kind of have to play by the rules of the game, right? So
well, that's the thing. Twitch gave them an avenue to do this, and they could do it legally. They could do it within the rules, and they just dance around that. They don't care. They avoid that. And, you know, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for people. Like, I fully believe that if a rule is stupid, that we have a right to kind of fight against that rule. Is this a stupid rule? Maybe. Is the best way to fight against it to just ignore it and continue to do this? Not really, because in the end of the day, these are people with a whole hell of a lot of money, but they are fighting against people with a whole lot of money, right? Like, you may have $10 million, but trust me, Disney has a whole lot more than 10 million. Like, Disney wipes their ass with $10 million. Right?
Brothers and like all these other places,
like
right?
They will step on you and they won't even slow down. So
yeah, I was gonna say their legal budget to fight these claims is probably more than some of these people have made in their entire career, which is really sad.
Yeah, and I think in the end, and Wiggum, you bring up a good point. Bad publicity is still publicity. That's true. I think the bigger issue, though, like if they want to ruin their careers and their lives, I don't really care. But the bigger question is, what does this do to Twitch? Is there some, like, what responsibility does Twitch have? Because in a way, Twitch is letting this happen. Like, the rumors are, and I can't substantiate this, but the rumors are is there are employees of Twitch that are sitting in these channels watching these shows with some of these content creators. Like, they know this is happening. They let it happen. And it sounds like the reason why, in some ways, they just want to be hands off. If you get a DMCA strike, we just pass it on to you. We don't have anything to do with it. But at some point, Twitch may have to be held accountable to this too, and that's where things could get a whole lot uglier. So I don't know. There's a lot of interesting twists and turns in this whole thing, but in the end, we ain't watching MasterChef on my tiny little channel. So sorry.
Sad day for us. Anyway, let's go ahead and spin the wheel and move on to the next topic.
Streamer drama. Now, oh, that's really close. We are, oh God, controlling voting. B.
All right. So we are going to talk about the NPR analysis of 2022 Secretary of State races across the country. This analysis found that at least 15 Republican candidates are running who question the legitimacy of President Biden's 2020 election win, even though we've already legislated this and there has not been evidence of widespread voter fraud that has been found. So, basically, what is being found here is that the duties of state secretaries in most states vary, but in a lot of the states, the Secretary of State is the top voting official and has a role in carrying out the election laws. So, based on this, current and former election officials, as well as election experts, are worried about what could become of democracy should some or many of the candidates who are running for these roles win. So, one of the quotes from an election law expert was, "The reasons why Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 election failed is because there were state officials who refused to substantiate his claims of fraud. These folks are really the gatekeepers." So the implication there is that these other people who are now running may, again, I think we just need to play the Zeke Elliott drop, and like that's the entire podcast.
Zeke Elliott, feed me of the week.
Like, these people are just, or maybe this is these people make me sad. I don't know which drop it is, but these people just basically will do whatever they want to, like, cozy up to their buddy. It'll basically become, instead of like democracy, it's going to become, high school king and queen. Like, everybody vote for me. And then if you didn't vote for me, we're going to kind of rig the vote so that I still win anyway.
Yeah, this is infuriating. It is frightening. It is disgusting. Like, I can go on. It's here's the thing. This is whenever we have these types of conversations, I kind of go back to the same thing. Full disclosure for those who are new here, because nobody that's been here before is surprised in any way, shape, or form. When I say this, I am very left-leaning, and I have a very strong distaste for a lot that is on the right. Not everybody that's on the right, but a lot that's on the right. But here's what I'll say is the GOP plays to win, man. Like, they will fight tooth and nail. Like you see those guys that get into a bar fight and the one guy throws some punches and the other guy's like kicking you in between the legs and biting your ear and taking the beer bottle and shoving it up your thingamabob, and that's kind of the GOP. They will kick, bite, scratch, claw, whatever they need to do to win. And that's what a lot of this is, right? This is getting in on more of the ground floor and starting to get people into positions where they can truly have an impact. Like if a lot of these people had been in this position, whatever that was 2 years ago, who knows where we'd be right now? Like they might have swung things in a very undemocratic, very illegal way to let dipshit be the president again. And so this is scary stuff, because I say this, and I know it sounds alarmist and it sounds extremist, but we are really at a tipping point here where we could very easily see this thing switch over to some sort of authoritarian regime very, very, very quickly. And it's scary as shit. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't, it's hard to disagree with that though, right? Because if we look even back to, we just passed a year of January 6th, right? And like that whole situation. And then we've got, all of the, and this might come up later, but the war on books and the war on slavery and the war on education. Like we are doing so many things to really like narrow what it is that people think, what people believe, what people act on, what people say, what people do. Like it's kind of like the words that come out of people's mouth is the opposite of what is being done, right? Oh, we want to be free. We want to be free thinkers. We want to do this, but don't you tell my child that there was racism unless you tell my child that there was racism in Guatemala or wherever they want to say that there was racism, right? Like, it's very concerning, because it really is the culture of, people scream and yell and complain and whatever, and then other people go, I don't want to deal with them, so I'm just going to give them what they want, and then we're going to deal with it, right?
Yeah, we had that. I think we talked about that last week, or maybe you and I just talked about it on the side. There's a situation in the school board, I think it was in California, where, the right mobilizes and becomes crazy a lot better than the left does. They went to some school board. I don't even remember what the issue was, probably masks in school, remote learning or something. And the school board was set to have a certain opinion. And these people just inundated the school board until they finally said, that's it, fine, you can have what you want. That's what they do. And they win because of that. And it's horrible. Like, I know that it is seen as extremist, and I know that people like, whoa, stop. But there are a hell of a lot of comparisons and parallels that you can make from today in the United States to about 100 years ago in Germany. I'm sorry, but it's there. And until we open our eyes and look at it that way, I don't see anything changing. Well, I'm spinning the wheel. I guess that was the final word. Let's talk about, that's right on the line. We're going to talk about saving some money, B. Or not saving some money, as the case may be.
So again, continuing to
the bad news. We need more good news on this wheel, B.
There's good news on the wheel. We're just not coming up with it.
All right, that's fair.
In 2022, Americans are going to be dipping into their savings as pandemic-related support from Congress.
Uh-oh. We lost audio, B. It sounded like an internet thing, but his video is perfectly fine. So I don't know what's going on there. Can you say something? Nope, no audio. Interesting. Got to give me a new headset. Christmas already came and left, man. I think his birthday is probably coming up in the next, 8 or 12 months. So we'll see what we can figure out. I got an old mic I could probably hook up over there for him. Maybe that's what we should do. Sounds like he can hear me, maybe? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, B. All right, he can hear me, but his audio's not coming through. That's kind of weird. Well, I'm going to let him go ahead and work on that, and I'm going to kind of give us a quick thing. He's still talking. Let me see if he's muted in Discord, maybe. Nope, not muted in Discord. Nope, I got nothing, B. He's going to do this, and then he's going to do that, and then this. I think he's disconnecting and going back into Discord.
Can you hear me now?
There he is.
I think it was a weird Discord thing. Like,
right.
Actually, every once in a while, it just, like, my stuff works, but apparently Discord just doesn't like it.
Emily says he's got Joe's batteries in his headset.
Nice.
All right, back to Americans saving money.
So I will not be saving money because I will need to purchase a new headset maybe, but probably not because it's working just fine right now. But in 2022, Americans are going to be dipping into their savings as pandemic-related support from Congress and the Federal Reserve is receding. As of November 2021, workers were putting away less money from wages into savings compared to what they were saving pre-pandemic. The U.S. savings rate peaked in the summer of 2020, and with most pandemic-related benefits ending in 2021, Americans will probably be, quote, scraping the bottom of the barrel of excess savings by the summer of 2022. The majority of these savings that are held in the world are held by, wait for it, rich people.
Oh.
And even though that's the truth, contrary to that, dwindling wages won't necessarily spur people to find more work, says a chief economist at the Washington Center for Equitable Growth. So I thought that this was interesting because this is really introduction to us having the conversation that we have every weekend off stream, right? Like this is, I feel like, again, something that's like very intentional and is skewed to getting people into the world of work and not questioning their role in the world of work and just living to work, or living to work instead of working to live, right? Because yes, you have to work to make your living, but that means that work is your priority, and living and being a person who is happy with your life becomes a secondary choice.
Maybe I'm grouping too many things into the same bucket. I'm willing to concede that may be the case. But it seems like almost everything we talk about has an underpinning of money. Like that's all anything is about, is money and money and money and power. Money and power, right? Yeah, I don't know. The article's not coming up for me, so I can't read it in detail, but it doesn't surprise me a lot. I mean, I wonder how much of this might be tied to the quote unquote great resignation that's happening right now, where a lot of people are quitting their jobs or moving to different jobs. People are finding their passion and moving on to different passion projects. And if you're in between jobs, or if you are underpaid, or if you're underemployed or unemployed, you're going to have to dip into any of those savings. Also, I think that we're living in a world where there's not a shit ton of people who have a lot in savings to begin with, right? So I don't know that there's a ton of people out there that have a bunch in savings to dip into if they need to. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that kind of tie into this. Did this article give a why at all?
Well, it was just saying that a lot of it is because the pandemic benefits are ending and there are other expenses that are coming due, like the student loan debt that ended up getting extended out again, but
right.
Like that was starting to come due for people, and obviously we know wages are weird, so
what they're saying is that people's crazy, stupid debts are outpacing their salaries, and now their savings is going to start to dwindle a little bit.
Correct.
Like, I mean, that makes sense, right? And it's going to happen to me. I got student loans that are going to start coming due again in a few months, and I got to see if I can keep my power on when that happens. So I understand that. All right, this is depressing. I'm spinning, and we're going to get something good. This is good.
Rodgers, I bet.
This is a good one. We got the Dodgers. Everybody hates the Dodgers, but we can like them for 3 minutes here.
So, Eric Braverman and Jonathan Cottrell will march down the aisle at Dodger Stadium. Braveman, a Dodgers senior vice president, and Cottrell, a software engineer, are officially uniting on January 21st in one of the crown jewels of what was once the most intolerant of sports. So Dodger Stadium has been Braverman's place since he joined the organization in 2008. It became a cornerstone for him when he came out publicly as gay in 2015 and felt the full support of the Guggenheim ownership group, who was determined to repair a long-time fractured relationship with the local LGBTQ community. So, for some background, this is the same Dodgers organization that once shunned gay outfielder Glenn Burke, trading him to Oakland in 1978 after he allegedly refused then general manager's monetary offer to marry a woman, and the same organization that once ejected 2 women from a game in 2000 because they were kissing in the stands. But much has changed with the Dodgers since then, beginning with the Guggenheim Group's focus on purchasing the team and reviving Pride Night. The first time the Dodgers scheduled a Pride Night in September of 2013, several Dodgers players grumbled and some even refused to take the field during the pre-game ceremony. The Dodgers ignored any complaints and have since turned the annual affair into a party. So basically, what has happened here is it sounds like this ownership group is trying to be more inclusive and supportive of the local LGBTQ community there, and they have this individual on staff who is identifying as gay, and he's like, hey, can we get married here? And they're like, yes, let's totally do it. So they're getting married on the mound at Dodger Stadium. So
yeah, it's a good news story, right?
Cool.
Like I was, when I read through this, they kicked a couple women out of the game because they kissed in the stands. Like, and this is 20 years ago. This isn't like forever ago. Like this.
Don't tell that to John Gruden. What you said 10 years ago can't be held against you.
Yeah, John Gruden can something I can't say. I'm spinning the wheel, but that's a good news story. That's a good news story.
You all. That was so good.
I thought we were gonna. Oh my God, B! Why is this shit on our list? We got the NFT
Fart Art.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Stephanie Matto, former 90 Day Fiancé contestant, made headlines when she announced that she'd have to retire from selling her farts in jars after she was hospitalized while trying to keep up with the skyrocketing demand. Matto says she made around $200,000 from selling bottled farts to fans, but doctors advised that her excessive window-breaking was taking a toll on her body. Instead of abandoning the business venture entirely, Matto told Insider that she decided to pivot to selling her farts as non-fartable tokens. Now, Matto is hoping to carve out a space in the NFT world with unique fart art. So, this, Mr. SKOINZ, is your platform to rail on NFTs. And go.
That was one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen anybody post on the internet before.
I mean, what the fuck? I mean, here, Emily says, get that coin. You know what? If people want to pay this woman to fart in a jar, why the fuck wouldn't you sell it? Like, I mean, other than it's killing her, apparently.
I read the article and it was amazing, but it was also horrible because they interviewed people who apparently bought these farts.
God.
And this one guy is like, I'm a 44-year-old economist or something. He's like, I have very particular tastes. I like to know all of. I'm like, whoa, no, stop.
You know, I gotta share this story now. I was the best man in my brother's wedding, and I shared a lot of great stories when I gave my best man speech. This is one story I didn't share. Now, unfortunately, my brother's probably not watching the podcast right now, which is a shame, so I'm gonna have to clip this and send it to him. But he was so far ahead of his time, he didn't even know. I mean, he was like 13 years old when we were sitting in his bedroom with an empty Pringles can, and he said, hey, I wonder if I can fart in the Pringles can and it'll still smell. So this motherfucker farts in a Pringles can really quickly, puts the top on that thing, and then he waits 5 minutes. And of course, there's only one way to know if it worked, right? He took the top off, he took a smell, and he goes, "It worked. Try it." And I said, "Fuck no, I'm not smelling that thing. You get out of here." So clearly he was way ahead of his time. Anyway, I don't know how NFT farts work, but NFTs are really just a scam anyway, as far as I'm concerned. So, you know what? It doesn't surprise me, right? Everybody's getting in on the NFT thing because everyone wants to try to get rich. I don't want to, be that person and make another tie back to the fact that every fucking thing we talk about has to do about fucking money. So that's all fucking anybody wants to fucking worry about. Give me that money. Give me that money. Give me that money. I like it's fucking stupid, but like NFTs.
What other drops do we have about money? Do we have any?
No, we're gonna have to get some more money ones, I guess. So it's not just all Zeke Elliott. But yeah, this is stupid, but I mean, from her perspective, I get it. I guess it makes sense. Give it a shot. Like if people are buying farts in a jar, they're gonna fucking buy her fart NFT. So you might as well take that money and do your little bit to destroy the world. Because why the fuck not? I'm spinning the wheel. NFTs almost make me more depressed than the fucking GOP. This might be a good one for us to maybe not end on. I don't know. But let's talk about old friend of the podcast, Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, there's going to be a sound played. And I don't know that it's going to be for, you know what? It's going to be for Aaron Rodgers and this other motherfucker. Both of them. Random dick of the week. They're both dicks. Tell us about it, B.
So, Hub Arkish, an NFL reporter who last week said that Aaron Rodgers was the biggest jerk in the league and didn't deserve the NFL MVP award this year, issued an apology after being called out by Aaron Rodgers as a bum. So, basically, the way that this worked is Arkish went on a radio show and they were asking him about, like, oh, who should be the MVP? And he's like, well, not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a jerk. Look what he put his team through. He shouldn't be able to get the MVP. He wasn't there for them in preseason. He didn't do this. I'm not going to vote for him. No, I'm not going to do it. And then Aaron Rodgers is like, you're a bum. And blah, 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 blah. And like they got into it. And then Arkish goes on Twitter and says that he made a terrible mistake in saying that he would not vote for Rodgers because of his off-field drama. Now, here is how I feel about this. Number one, is Aaron Rodgers being kind of a jerk? Yes. Is the MVP award about the fact that you are a jerk? No. You know what the thing is here? Both of these people say the quiet part out loud all the fucking time. But that is not why Aaron Rodgers should not win the MVP. He should win the MVP, even though he's a jerk, because he shouldn't win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Because to be the Man of the Year, you probably shouldn't lie about your vaccination status, like that kind of thing. But, Kirk Cousins could win the MVP award, and he talked about vaccination status all the time, right? But then other people are like, oh, well, you need 5,000 yards to win the MVP. Somebody asked Justin Herbert about his 5,000-yard season. Oh, wait, he doesn't have a playoff berth because his coach is an idiot who goes for it on his own 18-yard line, right? Like, the Rodgers should be the MVP. He has kind of really been a jerk this season and shown himself to not be someone that we all thought that he was, but he's still good on the field, so there is that. What are your thoughts, Gonzi?
I think I can sum this up in 3 words, and I don't have to say anything. They fucking suck. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? Like, I think one important point to pull out, this Arkush, is that how you say it? Arkush guy? He can vote for the Hall of Fame, which means he's some sort of a sports writer, right? Where's he a sports writer at? Do we know?
I think he is not happy with his owner.
So where is that?
Chicago, because Aaron Rodgers still owns them, apparently.
He does.
Right?
So, like, all this is some dumbass sports jockey running his mouth. He's a homer guy. Of course, the Bears hate, Chicago guys hate Green Bay. Like, He was just some guy trying to get his name in the headlines. I wonder if it has anything to do with money. I don't know why he would do that kind of thing, but it's what he wanted, and it got out, and Aaron Rodgers saw it and got pissed at him, and now all of a sudden he doesn't care that Aaron Rodgers heard. He cares that the people who are in charge of the MVP voting or the MVP Hall of Fame, whatever votings, they heard about it. Because now all of a sudden it for that split second, because nobody's going to give a shit. Nobody cares about it right now because it's been more than 3 days. Like, that throws that whole thing into question. Like, how legitimate is an MVP? Like, the MVP has never been legitimate. It's voted on by sports writers, for fuck's sake. I mean, if you look at any of these awards that get voted on, people are biased all the time. Like, people take their own personal opinions in. We could talk about the Hall of Fame. I mean, Barry Bonds is the best numbers anyone's ever put up in the history of the game. He's probably not going to be in the Hall of Fame. And part of it is because people question whether he used steroids. But Ty Cobb was a fucking asshole. Like, he who knows what he did. There's all sorts of questions around people. Jeff Bagwell's in the Hall of Fame. Don't tell me that fucking guy didn't use steroids. Nobody cared about that. So this whole thing, it's all garbage. I kind of went off on a rant a little bit, but...
Oh, one of my favorite papers that I ever had to write in college, I was in an honors writing class, and I wrote my paper about how in the Baseball Writers Association of America, people could like trade votes and like work together to like get their players elected to different categories. Like, oh, you're in this city and you've got a Rookie of the Year candidate and we've got a guy who we want to be MVP. So let's work together to make sure that we coordinate our votes so that both of our guys get votes and like all of that kind of stuff. And I got an A in the paper. So,
Nice. I could talk about my favorite paper, but it was kind of an asshole thing. So I'm not going to do that. Do we want to...
We gotta know. Come on, man.
I wanted to throw something stupid in this paper because it was the last paper that I was writing. And I was like, I got to throw something stupid in there and see what happens. And so I threw midget tossing in there.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
Right. It's where little people, like, I don't know why they would do this. It's so stupid. I'm not even getting into it. I put midget tossing in my paper. I still got an A, and I graduated, got my degree, and moved on with the world.
It's true.
Anyway, do we want to spin again, or should we? I think we should jump into random rankings. What do you say?
I mean, yeah, I was going to say we have one. Yeah, let's just go to random rankings. We have a couple good stories on the wheel, but those are for days that we don't want to get angry. And today was an angry day. But
all right, let's make a commitment that we're going to do the extra time this weekend then for our patrons. What do you say?
We'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, it is time then.
Random rankings.
For the random rankings. Right. And B, I'm going to let you describe this like I do all the time anyway. And this was kind of weird, but let me switch the screen and you tell us what's up.
So SKOINZ had an idea that normally we do our playoff picks. And half the time when we do our playoff picks, we either A, forget to go back and tell you what happened, or we always pick the same thing and it just kind of is like, yeah, I'm going to pick the same thing too. So this week we decided that we are going to go back to our fun days on Twitch, and we realized that we had 100 SKOINZ from our time in the SKOINZverse. But we've also been told that those SKOINZ can only be spent on this weekend of NFL wildcard football. So what SKOINZ and I are going to do for random rankings today is we are going to spend our SKOINZ on these 6 games. Now, we can play the money line. We can play the spread. We can play the over-under. We can play all of it if we want, but we've got a couple of parameters that we need to meet. If we put SKOINZ in any of these categories, it has to be at least 10 SKOINZ, and we have to put at least 10 SKOINZ on each of the games. So for example, I have to put 10 SKOINZ on Raiders Bengals, 10 on Patriots Bills, etc. But I can double up on any game that I want to, up to my 100 SKOINZ. So I figured that this would just be a little bit fun because there are some games where we might just be like, oh, I don't know, or we might just feel like taking a chance. So I thought this would be a little bit more fun. What are your thoughts on this, SKOINZ?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I do want to put a disclaimer out there. This is not professional wagering advice. Don't listen to anything that we say because we don't know what we're talking about. But yeah, I think this is kind of fun. And, betting
if you
on
need
games
help
is
with
kind
gambling,
of
call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Is that what it is? Is that the number? Have you called? Do you have a gambling problem?
I do not, but I listen to enough fantasy football podcasts where they do the like FanDuel or DraftKings ads, and they have to read like all the numbers. They're like, call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in Tennessee, like Red Line 47 or whatever it is. It's like in Arizona, call, and now they probably have to add New York to that because New York
just
legalized sports betting. And really, the reason that we're doing this is because SKOINZ and I had the conversation this weekend. Wisconsin needs to get in on that Zeke money because now the football season's over and we don't have the flash draft to keep us entertained.
That's true. We do have a request that next week we look at our NFL projections at the beginning of the season that we made, so we can do that. All right, cool. B, let's just do this game by game. I think that's the best way to do this.
Makes sense
so
for me.
Why don't you kick us off? Raiders and Bengals.
All right, so Raiders and Bengals. What we have here is the Raiders. Wait, why do these lines not match up? That doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
Apparently, they like whoever pulled these lines pulled them incorrectly, I think. What in the what?
Well, let me look one up real quick. Where did you get these from? Do you know?
It's the article that I have linked in here from CBS.
I'll just look at the first thing that comes up when I search for it. What's one that is different?
So it says Raiders and Bengals. It says that the Bengals are favored 6.5, but then this one says 5.5.
Yeah, so 6.5 is what I'm showing.
Okay. Ooh.
So yeah, I think so I think we used those numbers up top.
Okay. So we got 49.5 as our over under. We got 6.5. Ooh.
So really quick before we dive into this, let's explain very quickly what each of these mean. So the money line, and correct me if I'm wrong here. So the money line we've got, let me scroll down. We're going to use, I guess money line, we have to use the bottom one, but the money line is, so for Las Vegas, if you bet $100, you would win $200. For Cincinnati, you would have to bet $240 to win $100. And that's because Cincinnati's favored, right? So the spread here is 5.5 points, or we're going to use the 6.5 that's up here. So this means that if you choose Cincinnati to win, to beat the spread, they have to win by more than 5.5 points. Of course, there's no half points in football. So they would have to win by 6 points. So whatever Cincinnati's total is, you subtract 5.5. If they would still win that game, then you would win that wager. And then the over-under, which is 49.5 here, that is how many points will be scored total by both teams. So basically, do you think it's going to be a higher scoring game than they expect or a lower scoring game? So that's kind of what we're looking at on these. Gotcha. And I suppose I should leave this up so people can see this when we're going through it.
Awesome. So the hard part about this game is I don't really have a feel for how either of these teams are going to do because I think both of these teams are bad. But I am going to take my 10 SKOINZ and I'm going to put it on the over of 49.5 because when you have two bad teams that play each other, I'm expecting points.
So I don't feel exactly the same as you. I think Cincinnati is sneaky good offensively. I think they'd be very good offensively, and I think lately they've been insane offensively. Defensively, maybe not quite as good. So I would agree that the over is where to go. And I'm gonna put 20 on it.
20 SKOINZ, all right.
20 on the over.
All right. So now we have Patriots and Bills, SKOINZ. So I will read it to you, and then you will tell us what you think. So the Bills are favored by 4.5 points, and the over-under is 43.5. So what do you got for us in this matchup?
Buffalo -4. Ooh, this is a rough one. They're playing in New England, I'm guessing?
They're playing in Buffalo.
In Buffalo, -4. I'm going to take Buffalo and the -4.
-4.5. You got the hook.
Is it 4.5? Oh, 4.5. All right. Well, I'll do that anyway. So Buffalo -4.5.
You doing 10?
10. 10 SKOINZ.
All right. So I'm going to go 10 SKOINZ, and I'm taking the Patriots with the hook.
Oh, boy. All right.
I don't think they're going to win. I think 4.5. I think they can cover 4.5.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right, Eagles and Bucks. We've got 8.5 and a 49 over under, which that over under seems a little bit on the low side. But what do you think, B?
So I am going to pound the Buccaneers at 8.5 in this game. So let me go to, let's see, let me figure out how many coins I want to spend. Bucks minus 8.5. Is that what the SKOINZ score is? 8.5?
Yep.
We're putting that on there. What is my over-under?
Over-under is 49.
49. Do I want to do 10? Do I want to do 20? I'm debating if I want to do 10 and 10. I think I might want to do 10 and 10, and I'm going to do 10 on the over in this game, too.
Okay.
What is that over? Over
49.
Yep. Oh, all right, over 49. All right, so I got 10 on the Bucks, 10 on over 49.
Okay. Wiggs
40
has
of my dollar so far.
Wiggs has the Pats winning outright. Of course, he's a Pats fan or something. I'm also taking the Bucks in the 8.5. I mean, it's just the Eagles are horrible. I mean, I didn't even know they were in the playoffs. That's how bad they are. All right, so if we move on to Dallas and San Francisco, surprisingly, this is only a 3-point spread, which is very interesting, and a 50.5 point over under.
All right, so I told you that I was going to take the 49ers outright to win this weekend, but I think I might have to dial that one back. I don't know. It's interesting, right? Because if the 49ers play their game, they win. If they don't play their game, they probably get, blown out of here. But because I have to spend SKOINZ anyway, I am spending my 10 SKOINZ on the under of, what is that, 51?
50.5.
50.5. 2.5. Spending my 10 SKOINZ on the under.
Well, here's my thought.
So I have to change that.
Dallas and San Francisco, there are a lot of difference makers. Yeah, Prescott, Zeke Elliott, like even Tony Pollard, is that the guy, that backup running back guy? CeeDee Lamb, and on the other side, like Debo Sweeney, is that right? Debo Samuel is insane. Like I love that guy. Like Garoppolo's a bum, but Kittle's out there. Like there's a lot of difference makers in this game. But there's one, B. There is one difference maker in this game that is going to make, if I had to put money on one difference maker to make or break this game, it's Mike McCarthy, baby. It's playoff time. Nobody can screw up in the playoffs like Mike McCarthy. I'm taking San Francisco in the 3 points, baby. San Francisco, he's going to blow it. If anybody can blow that game, it's going to be Mike McCarthy.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the Steelers and the Chiefs. So Steelers are underdogs. Chiefs are favored 12.5. The over-under is 46.5. What do you got on this matchup, Skonzi?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go 10 on both. Ooh, do I want to take the under? I think I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take KC.
Okay. So
10 with KC plus, what is it? Or minus 12.5? Is that what it was?
Minus 12.5.
Minus 12.5. And then 10 on the, did I say over? I think over, yeah.
Over, yeah.
That over-under throws me, though. That one worries me because I really don't think the Steelers are going to score more than like 7 points. Maybe 9.
I'm also doing 10 on the over, but you may not want the points. You may not need the points, but you're going to get the points because I'm putting my 10 points on the Steelers.
Oh, no.
That 12.5 hook. I mean, playoff football.
Yeah.
You get a hook at 12.5? Come on now.
No.
Come on.
Give me the hook. I don't see this being anywhere near close.
Give me the hook.
I think this is going to be like a 30-point spread. This is going to be an ugly, ugly game. And what is this Monday, January 17th? There's a Monday playoff game?
Monday night game. Yep, Monday night.
Dude, the NFL is stupid. All right, how much more do we have? I got 20, 40, 60, 70. Holy shit, I got to do 30. You've got
and
10.
we can always come back in here when we're done too.
We're both at 70. Okay, Cardinals and Rams. We got the Rams favored by 4, and it's a 50.5 over under. What do you think, B?
Arizona. Well, both of these. So you've got Arizona, whose season is crumbling around them, and the Rams, who have Matthew Stafford. So this game is going to be awful, but I got to put my 10 SKOINZ on the Rams to cover. And then I have to figure out where I'm putting my other 20 SKOINZ. So while you make your pick here, I'm going to figure out where I'm putting my other 20 SKOINZ.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Because this game would have easily, like, the over under on this game probably would have been 20 points higher if it was 3 months ago. Like, both these teams were insane and high flying and scoring points and doing crazy stuff. Lately, not so much. Not so much. Like, I think a spread of 4 is maybe even a little bit more extreme. Like, I think this could be like a 1-point spread game. Like, I think it could be that up in the air. And I'm just kind of talking because I don't know which way I want to go. But you know what? I have been spouting my love's a little bit strong, for the guy that B hates. And so I'm going to give my 10 SKOINZ to Matthew Stafford and the -4 on the Rams.
So to close this out, I went back and I put an extra 10 SKOINZ on that over in that Eagles-Buccaneers game because I don't like overs. And I'm going to put my SKOINZ where my mouth is. I said I was picking the 49ers straight out. I'm putting my 10 SKOINZ on the 49ers.
Okay.
Going with my under a 50.5, because what's going to happen in that game is that's going to be Troy Aikman's hell, because they're going to be playing and he's going to be like, you know, Joe, I think the 49ers are holding over here, but they can't move the ball, and now it's the fourth quarter, and the score is 17-13, and then the 49ers are just going to run the ball with Elijah Mitchell, and then they're going to run the ball with Elijah Mitchell some more, and then they're going to run the ball with Deebo Samuel, and he's probably going to score a touchdown, and then I'm going to have to sweat out this over-under a 50.5, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get my 10, and I'm going to get my 10. It's going to be wonderful.
All right. Well, I'm going to put 10 on Cincinnati covering at 6.5 with too many periods. That puts me at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So I need an extra 10. So you know what? When all else fails, bet against Mike McCarthy. So I'm going to up my San Francisco pick to 20 SKOINZ. Because, that's what we do. So that's what we got.
So next week,
Wiggs also said that he's putting all of his non-existent SKOINZ on the under for the Rams-Cardinals game. So put 100 on that, I guess, for him.
All right, so next week we'll review this. We'll also review our beginning of season picks, and if this goes horribly right instead of horribly wrong, we will do this for the division series games.
And I think the idea is that we'll carry the SKOINZ through, right? So we'll do a whole thing. So I think maybe what we'll do for next week is let's have our picks figured out ahead of time. And then we will come through, we'll review the season, which we should have done tonight. We didn't do. We'll review the season. We'll review this week, and then we'll go over what we kind of decided for next week's games. Cool?
Got you. Yep.
Perfect. All right. And with that,
if we're both out of SKOINZ next week, then we draft some food.
It's okay. I'm the administrator of the bot. I can give us more SKOINZ. And with that, B, you know what time it is. It's extra point time.
So, this week, someone told Skonzi that his hair was unprofessional, and we thought that was some bullshit. No, that's actually not going to be my extra point, because I don't want to ruin your extra point. But we're in the new year, and everything this year kind of feels like it did last year, right? and the year before that. I had to write my annual review today. And as I start my review with my past year's review, I'm like reading this and I'm kind of laughing to myself. And I'm like, well, everything that I said about 2020 also applies to 2021. And 2022 honestly isn't looking much better if we're being honest. But, you know, all we can do is take things day by day. We've had some recent changes at my job, which are going to make my life a little bit more challenging over these next weeks and months. But I have to find a way to reframe that. I have to find a way to remain positive and to keep doing the best thing that I do, because, you know, I realize that one of my privileges is I love the work that I do. Like, even if I get stressed out or frustrated, like when I'm actually in the day-to-day of my job, I love what I do. So I feel like so many people struggle to find that like love and passion for something that they do, and I have it. So even though I get frustrated about things like the thing that I'm not going to say here because it's not technically official yet, but I did share it with SKOINZ because I'm a horrible person like that. But, you know, just look at your life and try to find those things that you can be thankful for, even in times of cold, like it is right now outside, like SKOINZ said before.
Good point. Yeah, and by the way, that news that might be news but isn't news officially is it's pretty freaking fantastic.
It's so terrible.
It's great.
Once it becomes official, I'm totally gonna have a T-shirt, and I probably won't wear it on the podcast.
Dude, I might make an extra special T-shirt. The possibilities are endless. Anyway, so there's something I was going to talk about last week, and I don't remember why I was going to talk about it. I don't remember what I think it just had to do with spending time with my family over the holidays, with some of my family, a very small number of my family, because illnesses and everything else cropped up, as is happening nowadays. But we had, I think we had a conversation, or maybe just sprung to mind and reminded me of the times we played games together, like video games. Like we played other games too, but the video games that we played together. And I just thought back to some of the amazing times, and going back to when we had our consoles, whether it was the Nintendo or the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. You know, my brother and I would sit down and we would, play games. One of my fondest memories of playing games with my brother was Final Fantasy VII on whatever console that was, PlayStation 2 maybe. Like we just sat down and we'd take turns who would control the characters, and we played through that for weeks, maybe months, and it was amazing. I remember back in the day, you actually could rent video games from like a Blockbuster. Trust me, kids, that used to be a thing. Or other video game rental or movie rental place. My family rented a game, like the entire family, called Dragon Warrior for the Nintendo. This is a great story, B. You're going to love this. Dragon Warrior. Now, we kept that game forever. Like, I don't know how much we had to pay in over fees. Like, we talked to the people. They knew we were holding on to it. We should have just bought it. We probably could have bought it 10 times over. But that was our whole, like, family entertainment. Like, every night we'd come home from work or school, and we'd sit down. The kids would sit on the floor. Parents would be up on the couch, and we'd play through this RPG game together. It was insane, and it was stupid, but it was amazing. And it's one of those memories that just is burned into my head. I could get Alzheimer's, and I'm not going to forget that. Okay, I probably would, but I don't think I would. It's an amazing memory. There was a time when we played through this game called Carmageddon, which is a very weird racy game where you also run over pedestrians and you blow up people's cars or whatever. And I can remember, I'm up on the top floor, my sister's down in the basement floor, and my dad's on the middle floor. And, I used the boomerang thing to shove my sister into the freaking building, and you can hear her screaming from up in the basement, "You son of a bitch!" And it was just freaking amazing. It's just great times. And I was reminded of that as I spent the holidays with my family, that those are important memories, and they're memories that don't come to mind all that often. Unfortunately, they're not things that I think about all that often. But I'm very grateful that they're there. I'm grateful I had those experiences. I'm grateful that they helped make me who I am today. And I want to make more of those memories. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like to spend time hanging out with my friends, playing games. That's why we talk with y'all, and we stream a lot of that, and those are important memories to me. So I guess the moral of my story is, make sure you're remembering those special moments, those things that don't come up very often, and maybe you can search your memory and find those, but maybe they just kind of pop up randomly one day. Spend some time kind of basking in that memory. I think that's super important. And number 2, find those things that will help you build those memories, because those are the things that matter in the end. You know, when the world's falling apart and we have our, you know, Civil War version 2.0 that's going to be happening, and everybody hates everyone, and, you know, Donald Trump is riding the bald eagle over the Grand Canyon, and whatever the hell other craziness happens. Let's find those things that make us smile, make us love, make us care, and the things that bring us together, because we're going to need that more than ever. So that's what I'm going to try to do. That's what I'm trying to do every day, and I hope you can do that too. And thank you for being a part of some of those memories for me. That's what I got, B. Why don't you wrap us up?
So now that SKOINZ got us all emotional, we're going to tell you where you can find us. If you would like to share some emotion with SKOINZ, you can find him on Amazon Sidewalk and your local Nextdoor app. You can also find SKOINZ on Twitter at SKOINZ. You can find me on Twitter, LandmarkMKE. You can find the show at AQ_PROD on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. SKOINZ and I are only here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Y'all don't get me. Y'all just get a bunch of Apex. But that's okay. You should tune in for that. That's kind of fun. You know, especially if you like yelling at Fernando. But
Fernando, you son of a bitch.
If you don't like yelling at Fernando, you can catch the We Random on YouTube in your favorite podcast app, or, you know, anywhere that you can get these hands. So until next time, I'm Landmark. That's SKOINZ. Hope you all are safe. Hope you all are healthy. And we will talk to you again soon.
Bye, everybody.
I need my SKOINZ. SKOINZ, 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 SKOINZ.